Welcome back to the first of the worst podcast. After a brief hiatus, I am Brendan Murphy.
And I'm Steve Arendas. Don't call it a comeback.
We really didn't leave.
No, it's my fault. I've been like moving and stuff.
Steve's been busy being an adult.
But I think we should be a lot more consistent going forward.
Yes, and before we get into it, I did have this thought. I don't know if I've ever said it on this show, but when Grantland went, when Grantland went away, I was gonna say bankrupt or bellied up. I mean, that's not really accurate. A lot of people were upset, and I was upset because I love Grantland, and you do too. But I think that like the memoriams were a little bit too high-minded about it in some ways. Like, to me, pop culture is the poor man's intellect.
I mean, it's my favorite kind of intellect.
I know. That's why we're not that smart. That's why we do this. We're intellectually mediocre, but great at this.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're welcome for grouping you with me.
I clearly miss Grantland. Like once a day when I'm doing my internet like stuff, I still like fucking type it in, and then I get really sad when I have to see Taryn Petaway's face on their Mount Rushmore of Grantland, which is off the top of my head. It's like Kate Hudson from Almost Famous, David Duchovny, Seth Rogen, Taryn Petaway, who like I'm guessing most people listening to this don't know who he is. He's like a shooting guard / point guard ball hog for Nebraska's basketball team, and the Honey Badger in an Arizona Cardinals jersey, which has all the logos removed. Like that's what's on their screen.
That was impressive. You know what though? This is what they picked. This was This was what they wanted to go out with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're all like animate, like drawings too.
Yeah.
No, it was kind of the right choice though. It's like some weird obscure stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, and Taryn Petaway was a guy that was written about quite a bit.
Yeah, they're college basketball guys. Yeah, like talked about him, so that makes sense. And Honey Badger was like a peak of that. Though I don't really know how David Duchovny made it. Actually, the more I think about it, he's the one that makes the least sense to me.
What was his like pop culture? Was it still Californication?
Is that like even in the like? Do people like care? There's like a few like I don't think people care about Californication.
It was just like, hey, here's a guy having sex with hot chicks.
That show sucks.
It was a TNA show.
Yeah, but now we have like Game of Thrones, which is awesome and has TNA.
Yeah, you can do both. The Sopranos was in a strip club for like half of the show.
Yeah, I assume this new HBO show about like
there's gonna be a lot of
like that's gonna do it. Hopefully it's good.
I mean, you could do it bad, like Boardwalk Empire. I mean, I don't know if you've watched that to completion, but
I did and I quit.
It was a TNA show. I mean, it was like guns and boobs.
I was pretty much out at it after they killed like the semi-main character.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's hard to recover from. You know, it's an interesting dynamic with shows because it's hard to recover from that, but at the same time, you need to like not be afraid to do it.
I totally agree. The problem was he was like the only interesting character on that show.
Because Steve Buscemi is not really a leading man.
Yeah, to me, like so, like other shows, like The Wire had like a million interesting characters. So like you could knock off guys, or The Sopranos had a bunch of interesting characters, right? So you can get rid of guys, and the show's still good. But that was like, what was his name? Was his name like Jimmy or something?
Jimmy Dominy.
Yeah, he was the only interesting character to me. So like when he was gone, I was like, man, I don't really care anymore.
All right. Well, we have taken the roundabout way to this week's podcast, but we will get there. Steve and I, this is an interesting one because now Steve and I are both working from home.
Yeah.
And so we are working, but when you're working from home, the TV's always on.
No, I mean, I've been pretty good at keeping it off, but I currently have Outside the Lines in the background right
now. What it resonates with you is how bad TV is during the day.
It's brutal.
It even with as many channels as we have, like growing up, you weren't even a basic cable house, so you had just the 257 932.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I think I missed one. There might have been like
you missed like WCIU and UPN.
Was that 10?
12 or 26?
Okay, 26. That's right.
50.
26 and 50.
And then like PBS.
Oh, 11. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It's crazy that I still. I mean, but you.
I remember it too. Yeah.
So this week's podcast is in the present, but it is something that was probably rooted in our childhood to some extent, and that is the top 10 daytime talk show hosts.
Yeah. So I just like how we defined. So we went current, though we had a weird confusion where Brendan didn't know we were going current at first. So he was making a list of all timers. So he's probably gonna talk about some of them before we get into the list. And I just like a daytime talk show is, I guess, any show where they're talking, and I think there kind of has to be audience participation of some kind for it to be a talk show, or else it's just like the news.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. So you didn't do like a Fox and Friends as
because like so it's like PTI is not a talk show.
No,
those two guys just talk to each other. But technically, I didn't put them on my list. Paul Feinbaum's show is a talk show.
Oh shit! You put Feinbaum on.
I didn't put Feinbaum on, but he's a talk show. He's a talk show,
talk show. But yeah,
still a talk show.
So like Dan Patrick would count too. Then
he's on my list. Yeah.
I didn't really think about sports. Damn it. Okay. Well, as Steve mentioned, I kind of started off down like the all-time path, which, by the way, the all-time path, makes this not even a bad list. So we went current. And I didn't do like Merv Griffin and things that were like before our time, but like the ones that I thought were worth mentioning as like what I would call the first class of nominees to the Daytime Talk Show Hall of Fame.
Okay, we should actually just start this somewhere.
Okay, I went with...
Should be in Burbank, I think.
Burbank?
Chicago's actually not a bad place. A lot of these shows were filmed in Chicago.
Although they've all moved away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go in probably reverse importance of my nominees. And you know what else I would point out is like the talk show has morphed a lot. When we were growing up, it was definitely like more of a trashy thing.
It's less trashy though. Some of those still exist, but it's not as ubiquitous.
No. I mean, it was just strictly like
it was trashy and Oprah. Like that was what it was back then.
So yeah. I mean, so Ricky Lake is one of my nominees.
Go Ricky.
Okay, you mentioned yesterday that you were attracted to her.
Well, did I? I didn't mention that yesterday.
Oh well, then I wanted to say that I was attracted to her.
But I never. By the way, I've never said that out loud, but I kind of was attracted to her.
Okay, when I was a kid, I thought anyone who was on TV was hot before I knew about sex. I once said Rebecca Lobo was hot. That's a direct quote.
Ricky Lake's way hotter than Rebecca Lobo.
Not any. Now they're both just kind of.
No, you have to. Who are you going with? You gotta take one.
Ricky Lake. Probably. At least Rebecca Lobo's body is probably very similar to mine. Like I have sex with myself all the time.
Ricky Lake. No, I've never said I was attracted to her, but yeah. Some of these people on my list are, whatever. We'll get to that later. Continue.
Okay, so then I went with Sally Jesse Raphael.
Hated her. The red glasses.
Just because that is a great name.
It really is. Hated her. Hated that show.
Yeah, I mean, that show was terrible. And then I mean, Phil Donahue is legit.
I don't remember that. I didn't watch that show. I didn't watch the legit ones, by the way, when I was younger. I never watched
Naked Gun situation was pretty funny where Leslie Nielsen went as Phil Donahue. And I have a friend who every time I'm with him, like maybe 4 times during our like time hanging out, he'll yell out, "Oh my God, look at Donahue!" or whatever that line is.
I feel like Phil Donahue started as legit and we got sucked into the world of trash.
Because of ratings.
Yeah,
I totally see that. And then, I mean, Oprah. She stands alone. There's not a Mount Rushmore because it's just her.
She's like, well, there might be a current person that's on that.
I wonder if our current person is the same, but yeah.
Well, it's not my number one, but it's probably the best person.
Oh shit! I forgot Reg. Pardon me.
Reg for sure. Regis.
I had intended. I didn't write that down, but Reg was definitely on my mind. Yeah, Regis. Come on.
Yeah, Regis is great. Also, Hall of Fame late night talk show guest.
Oh yeah, and Notre Dame alum, game show host. He was pretty good. I mean, Reg is great.
Reg, I love Reg. I'd hang out with Reg.
Yeah, I mean, how old do you think he is? He's probably older than. It's always older than you
80.
think. 80.
That's why he's like retired. If you're retired as like a person who does that job, you're old because you could do that job
forever, pretty much.
Yeah, you can like work out some like arrangement where you don't have to like work as many days of the week or something. But he just doesn't.
Yeah, that's what Hawk Harrelson did.
Yeah, and it's also what Letterman did towards the end. He was only recording that show like twice a week. That's why it wasn't that good towards the end because like the stuff wasn't that like up to date.
Did not. I mean, I knew that they recorded 2 episodes on like Thursdays or something, but I didn't.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. By the end, yeah.
Okay, so that is all I have. Although I did discover like a few people that I thought maybe would have been on this list whose show were canceled.
Oh, who would those be?
Well, namely Bethany Frankel.
I see. I learned that she had a show when I was researching this. I didn't even know.
I learned that she had a show and that it was canceled. So maybe my outcry is not justified.
Yeah, like I was trying to think of the old timey ones, like Montel. I watched Montel and Ricky Lake were like a block.
Yeah, Montel could probably belong in that.
I don't know if he's quite the Hall of Fame though. We're gonna have a Hall of Fame debate on Montel Jordan,
Montel Williams, and Montel Jordan for the same Hall of Fame.
I love that I just called him Montel Jordan.
That's such a meme move. That's such a I don't know that many black people, so I confuse them move. Not a you move.
They're the only 2 people I've ever heard of named Montel.
I know some Montezes.
Yeah, with an L. All right, let's start it off. What's your number 10?
Yeah, 30 minutes in. My number 10, and this woman is, if she were to take an IQ test, she would score very low.
Oh, it could be a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, we're still also Tyra Banks' show, I believe, is canceled.
Oh, yeah, Tyra doesn't have a show anymore, for sure.
But this woman kind of took her, and like the gregarious, stupid woman overtook her there, and that is Wendy Williams.
Wendy did not make my list. That show, I'm not even gonna lie, I totally thought she was a transsexual for like 3 years.
She's disgusting.
I don't mean that as an insult to transsexual. There's nothing wrong with that. I just actually thought she was, but she's not.
I mean,
I did a lot of Googling once to try to figure that out.
Honestly, I feel like if you're on like a day where you're in the mood and your wife isn't, put on the Wendy Williams show and you will no longer be in the mood.
Yeah, that show's terrible too. Like she's terrible. She's stupid.
She was like an FM radio host in New York. Kind of did the same shit she does on TV, and then got a TV show.
Oh, that parlay. We could parlay right into my number 10 because this guy was an FM radio host, morning radio host, and he wears giant suits, and that's Steve Harvey.
He's on my list too. Well, let's just talk about him now.
He wears the biggest suits with the most buttons. He wears the suits are probably as big as Charles Barkley's, but he's always has like 8 buttons on his suits. Have you ever seen his show?
Yes, because it was kind of controversial with Chicago comedians this year.
Wait, what?
Allow me to explain. So they were doing a huge audience show about like what women really want because Steve Harvey knows.
Dude, half his show's about that and like making you better. But yes, continue.
And so they were just like trying to get a huge audience, like in the thousands of men, and then like 100 women.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were reaching out on all the Chicago comedy community, like message boards and Facebook pages, and like some comedians signed up for it, and it was a disaster. Like they didn't feed anyone for like 8 hours, and they brought out all these girls, and everyone was angry, and it wasn't all comedians. It was just generally the populace. They were just trying to get people. And they were like booing and hissing and slut shaming these women for like nothing. And I mean, Gawker actually wrote about it. It was just a total disaster.
Gawker wrote about it if slut shaming was involved.
I mean, but they just like preyed on everyone. They like, they could have done like made them watch Wendy Williams for 8 hours and starved them, and then brought out these women and put men in like the most anti-woman state of mind ever, and then brought them out.
That's fantastic.
So they manufactured it a little bit, but so that's why he's been a little bit on my radar. So I have watched him.
Also, is he still currently the host of Family Feud?
Okay, that was another. Yeah, he is, and that's another thing I wonder. He might be like the richest guy on this list.
Oh no, no way, not on my list.
There's a woman who might be richer, but I don't think there's a dude who's richer on my list.
Oh, okay. So you're saying just guy? I think I got one.
There's 2 women who are definitely richer on my list. A third who is possibly
1, 2 for sure. First 3. Oh, maybe. I don't know. We'll
I'm talking about between his syndicated radio show.
Mm-hmm. Is he still on the radio?
I assumed he was. I didn't do my research, I guess. Maybe he's not.
Let's try to guess every person going forward if they make more or less money than the Steve Harvey line.
Okay.
Just off the top of our head. So my number 9 is a good one to debate. She was a co-host with one of your Hall of Famers back in the day. And now she currently co-hosts with Hoda Kotb and gets drunk every morning at like 10 a.m. And it's Kathie Lee Gifford.
I actually did. My number 9 was Kathie Lee and Hoda. So we're on the same wavelength here.
It's kind of like not. It's a semi like mindlessly entertaining show for that time of morning. Like I don't know what else you're gonna watch at that time of day.
Yeah, I should point out that we basically meant that if these shows aired during like normal working hours, they were eligible.
Yeah. So like the Today Show is not eligible, but like the Last Hour with Kathie Lee and Hoda is, right?
Yeah.
Kathie Lee was smoking hot back in the day, but she still probably looks pretty good for her age. I have no clue how old she is.
I mean, Frank Gifford was like a New York Playboy legend, so I mean, he's not going to end up with a trollop.
That's true. Yeah, now she just like makes a wine Wednesdays and they drink on Fridays. All that stuff.
I mean, they would be at yoga if they weren't there.
Yeah, they're just like having fun.
I don't know what Hoda's claim to fame is, though.
I actually don't either. She just maybe got lucky and got.
What if they were just like friends and Kathie she was just like,
maybe she was just Kathie Lee's friend,
like Gail.
Yeah, like Gail. Yeah, it's totally possible. Though it seems like Hoda's a little polished.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to find this out. I'm going to look this up because it is just too interesting for me.
Like she seems too polished to have just been like a friend.
Yeah, she's probably of the 2 of them the more polished.
Yeah, I agree.
So I would probably agree that Hoda Kotb. I can't even pronounce this.
It's like Kotb or something. Is how it's pronounced.
Okay, she was like a real reporter.
Okay, and then I bet they were
Dateline correspondent.
Like somehow, I bet they knew each other too, though, because she's
a Dateline correspondent. Okay.
Okay.
So she's a real reporter.
It makes sense that she has some polish. Yeah. Okay. Maybe not too many wines deep, but we'll see. So that was also your number 9.
That was also my number 9.
Okay. So do we think Kathie Lee makes more money than Steve Harvey? Or
no way.
You don't?
I don't think so. She might have more because of the Regis and Kathie Lee show.
Yeah, but not currently making more. Okay. 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 I agree. I agree with you. All right. Who's your number 8?
Steve Harvey.
Okay, Steve Harvey. It makes equal amount of money. Steve Harvey.
He does make an equal amount of money to Steve Harvey. I don't really have anything else to add. I just, he's a worker. He's got a lot going.
Yeah, he hustles.
He hustles. Because the money isn't forever, though. Probably for him at this point, it is.
It might be for him at this point. You figure like minimum, he could always just be like a radio person in Chicago. Minimum.
I mean, here's the thing. He has basically no quality products. But
quantity.
He is so rich. I mean, he's not the first guy to host Family Feud.
No.
Oh, I mean, and definitely not the first guy to do a daytime talk show. Okay, so I actually found out what his salary is and what his net worth is.
Okay.
According to
networth.com.
CelebrityNetworth.com. So
totally reputable.
They have his net worth at $100 million.
Okay, sounds about right.
And then they have his salary at $30 million.
Okay, so he's spending too.
Now I'm a little bit more skeptical because I think definitely some of these people are over 100 million.
Oh, we'll see. I'll also go to my number 8. She definitely is not. She's probably one of the least paid people on my list, if not the least paid. You might not even know who she is. She's only been a host of The View now for like a couple months. And it's Paula Ferris, former NBC5 Chicago sports desk person.
That's who that was. I recognize that name. She done come up.
Yeah, she was on Good Morning America for a while, and this is like a throwback to my days of not having cable, as I always watched that terrible Sports Sunday show on NBC at 10:30 at night.
Mike Adamley's crazy ass.
Yeah, she was the host of that for a while. And that's just back from my days when I didn't have Sports Center, and the only sports like shows I could watch was that, followed by the George Michael Sports Machine,
which I think is no longer on. Right,
well, George Michael's dead,
so probably not then.
Yeah, the Men in Blazers, the soccer guys, got in the background of their show. The actual Sports Machine is there. They just got it because they work for NBC and they love him. It's like just sitting in the background. It's great. They talk about the Sports Machine randomly. Yeah, so Paul Ferris, NBC Sports. There was like a string there where that like NBC was just pumping out people. That NBC Chicago pumps out like national news people. Pumps them out. Yeah, like Ginger Z might be on like the Today Show or Good Morning.
She is on something.
Yeah, she's something now. Like that NBC just pumps them out. I don't know. Like they've like become like a, I don't know. They're like the Kentucky Wildcats.
Cheryl Scott is primed for bigger things.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're like Kentucky. One and done.
They got one of the guys who was hosting Extra was on there, I think, at one
John Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pump them out. Yeah, it's a good spot to be in, apparently, if you're a young, up-and-coming, pretty good-looking man or woman in the news biz.
I've always preferred NBC5's news.
It's the best in Chicago, I think.
It's the best production.
NBC5 I'm into NBC5. WGN's morning show is ridiculous. And then I think I like the Fox local news in Chicago.
God, I don't even watch the Fox local news.
It's on at a weird time. So
it's on at 9 still?
Yeah. I mean, that's because I'm like watching a show or something and then it like goes to it afterwards.
I mean, I think back on the Carol Marine, Ron Majors.
I was big into Fox Thing in the Morning when I was before
Bob Surratt.
Bob Surratt and Marianne Murciano. I love Bob Surratt. He's on PBS now, right?
Yeah, he's been on like every channel. He's like the the Mo Williams of local news anchors. Like he's been on every channel.
There's an amazing old picture of Bob Surratt, like from some like tech story, like holding all these gadgets. It's like he's engulfed in gadgets, and now all those gadgets are just like in a phone. It's great. So then I'm on my number 7.
Yes.
All right. So this one, I think he has a lower net worth. It's Strahan. Michael Strahan.
Yeah, he's on my list too. He really did make a seamless transition to daytime TV talk. I think he's pretty good.
He's good at it. This huge, think of where we are in America. This huge black man just came in and won the hearts over of middle American wives.
Yeah. I mean, he's
great. No, he's great.
Non-threatening.
Yeah. The best is that he has like all these jobs and stuff because like he has to pay Nicole Murphy so much fucking money in child support.
Yeah, that's actually what probably kills his net worth.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because I would guess that he probably makes a lot of money for that show.
How much money do you think Nicole Murphy makes?
Half of what he makes would be my guess.
What about Eddie? Is Eddie not paying her?
I did not know that was his that he was Eddie. Oh man, I did not know that. That is a great fact.
Yeah, that's where the Murphy comes from.
That's Strahan's ex-wife. If we're not being entirely clear.
Yeah.
Messy divorce, very public, very New York divorce.
Very New York divorce. He basically, though, Strahan totally stole Tiki Barber's plan. Remember when Tiki Barber like retired early so he could like be a media like personality?
Yes, yeah. But then Tiki Barber got caught cheating on his pregnant wife.
That's absolutely true. With like a college girl.
Yeah, that screwed up his plan entirely.
And then he tried to go back to the NFL and it totally didn't work. Yeah, Strahan totally took his playbook and just dominated it.
Strahan was a way better player. So
yeah, way better player and probably better at what Tiki Barber wants. And now Rondé's even doing like announcing. Like
Rondé called the Bears game recently.
For those who don't know, Tiki Barber was an NFL player who kind of like became a pseudo celebrity because he played in New York and was a running back and was in Super Bowls and stuff.
He was okay. He wasn't great. He was
okay. He's a twin brother, Rondé, who is a cornerback, way less popular but a way better football player.
Yeah.
And he now is kind of probably making more money than Tiki.
And Tiki. You fell into that young woman trap.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's your number 7.
Yeah.
And
so we're 6? On your 7 and your 7 and 6, right?
Who was it? Wouldn't you? We'll do my 7 and 6 because I'm not doing math well.
Yeah.
My 7 is a combo.
Okay.
Which might be unfair, but I feel like they're actually pretty similar.
Okay.
Katie Couric / Meredith Vieira.
Oh, okay. So does Katie Couric still have a daytime show?
Oh, damn it. Does she not? I made Steve watch the clip of Katie Couric's show, Katie, with Lil Wayne.
I don't think that show still exists.
Okay, well, then it'll just be Meredith Vieira.
Well, Meredith is my number 6, so this is a good time to talk. This is on the list of women I'm weirdly attracted to, and Meredith Vieira is on that list.
I would put Katie Couric on that list.
Oh, I'm way more into Meredith.
Really?
Yeah.
Katie's kind of a trampy one. You know, she was like dating John Henry.
Well, I think I got one over. Do you ever see the old? So Meredith Vieira used to host Who Wants to Be a Millionaire after Regis. And did you ever?
When it was like strictly daytime.
Yeah. There's like one of the best old internet clips is of this like Navy guy was like the contestant, and like she got like flush and like horny over this dude, and it's amazing. Like it's like 3 minutes of her just like falling over this dude like in uniform. Like he's a good looking guy, right? And at one point, like the question is like, when somebody gives somebody a wet willy, where do they stick their finger? And he goes, "Can I just show you?" And she goes, "You can put it anywhere you want."
After the show, he probably did.
He probably did. Like the whole thing is her just making lewd sexual like remarks about this guy. Where like if a guy did that, you'd just be fired. Like to a woman.
But I'm okay with it.
Or it was the 1960s.
Yeah, but I'm okay with a woman doing that.
Oh, I'm totally okay with it. It's great. It's probably also why I'm attracted to her is that clip. She's like visibly getting flush over this guy.
Women
I don't know if she's married or
uniform.
What. Yeah, I don't know. It's great. You should look it up. Just look up like Who Wants to Be like Meredith Vieira, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It'll be like
we might do some clips on the First of the Worst Facebook page this week because that Katie Couric Lil Wayne interview. Yeah. Pretty special.
It is. That's 15 minutes, but it's well worth your time.
I have to actually credit that a comic did a bit about that. That's how I knew about it, which might have actually been like what inspired this whole topic. But and the bit is kind of just recapping what happens because you don't really need to write jokes.
No, it's a joke itself.
It's just so funny. Sometimes the truth is funny enough.
My friend, she says,
my friend Wayne Carter.
My friend
Wheezy. No, does she say my friend Wheezy?
Well, she calls my friend Wayne, and then she calls him Wheezy, and then later on she keeps talking about syrup. Yeah, and it's amazing.
Yeah, the syrup part especially.
It's great. All right, so that was also my number 6. So who's your number 6 then? Because that was your 7. Who's your 7?
That was my number 7. Was those two? Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi. See, I hate Whoopi. I've never been on Team Whoopi except for like I don't know, those nun movies.
The thing with Whoopi is why is she so famous? Like
it's a great. Was she a stand-up comic who was like
she was with like Robin Williams and Billy Crystal, and then she wasn't Ghost, but like you look at her like
it's
filmography.
Brutal. She's in a movie with Ted Danson.
Yes, she is. What's that movie called?
With Will Smith as like their kid, right?
Yeah, that might be like Jumpin' Jack Flash or something.
No, it's not. But she, it's like it turns out like he was the sperm donor or something, or something like that. Like or like some weird thing like that. I don't know.
She's got Ghost, which is definitely considered a classic, although I could take it or leave it, and that's a struggle, man.
The Nun movies, what?
Sister Act
and Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit.
Yeah. And then, like she's got Boys on the Side there, which doesn't really sound like she did a ton of acting in.
Yeah, I actually, that's a great question. Why is Whoopi so famous? It must be from comedy.
She did do comic relief with Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. That was
like if you're just like with those two back then in their primes, you're gonna like Rising Tide like lifts all ships, right? Like,
all that being said, I kind of like her. I think she's kind of cool.
She's definitely got a vibe. She's not a lesbian though, right? Like we think she's a lesbian, but she's not.
I just assumed.
Yeah, I have always too. Like, because I was about to just say, if we're going for our older African American lesbian comic, I'm more of a Wanda Sykes man. But I don't think Whoopi's a lesbian.
No. All her spouses are men.
Yeah, exactly. And like a lot. Like she's like had some like famous relationships.
She dated Frank Langella.
She's had like some famous relationships and stuff. Yeah.
That guy was the guy who played Nixon. What an odd couple.
I assume, but Eddie, is it any man with Whoopi an odd couple in your mind?
Yes. Well, what if it was like Lenny Kravitz or like a dreaded man? Those guys those guys just get so many hot girls. The dreaded dudes too.
Yeah, absolutely. Lenny Kravitz isn't messing with her. Are you crazy?
Lenny Kravitz resume is like Derek Jeter-esque.
Jeter. Speaking of Jeter, Hall of Famer, R.I.P. to Jeets. Though he went out on top, like Hannah Davis is like the
I didn't know that they got married or
engaged. She's got a rock. I guess it's not over till it's over.
Was he engaged to Minka Kelly at any point?
I don't think so. I guess it's not over till it's over, but she's got a rock.
Man, did he play it right?
Yeah, like it's the perfect time to like buy for him, right? Because he's kind of gonna start dropping off the radar. Yeah, so perfect time to buy for him. She's like top end supermodel. If you don't know who she is, she's on that commercial with the talking horse on the beach. That's her. I don't know what else. I really know her. I don't really know her from much.
I think she might have been the cover of the swimsuit issue.
Yes, she's like a swimsuit model. Yeah, she's very attractive, obviously. So are we on my number 6, which was Meredith?
No, we were on my number 6, which was Whoopi. But
yeah, so we can go over to me now.
Yeah.
So my number 6 was Meredith, and then my 6 and 5 were my what I said. Like, it was going to be like older, not too old, but older women that I'm attracted to, and my number 5, who I think definitely has more money than Steve Harvey, but that could be because of who her husband is, and it's Julie Chen.
Okay, I didn't do anyone from the Chew or.
I did. I consider her the host of The Talk.
Oh, like The Talk. Yeah, those. I get those confused. The Chew, The Talk,
The View.
The View. I mean,
what about The Real, which is like the black version? It's called The Real, and it. Which is crazy that they need a black version because both of the other shows have like 2 African American panelists. I said African American like a racist person there. I have a theory that if you say African American all the time, that you're hiding your racism because nobody says that.
Although like
unless you're in like a very specific setting.
Yeah, I mean, although you could say black and still be pretty racist.
Oh, absolutely. But you're not hiding it as much then. You're not hiding anything when you say black, so you could be not racist or racist. I just think people who say African American, like who never say black, who only say African American, are like not necessarily. They're like kind of worried about things, and
they don't interact with many African Americans.
They don't. Yes, that's absolutely the case. But yeah, Julie. I mean, part of my love for her is I love Big Brother, and which is a weird thing about me. I love the show Big Brother. That's not a daytime talk show, but she's the host of that show.
Okay, yeah, you need to kind of educate me on her.
Julie Chen is, she used to be like a news person. She's the host, I believe, the main host of The Talk, which is a knockoff of The View. And she's like, I don't know, she claims to be a 45-year-old Asian woman, but I think she's older. And she's had a decent amount of plastic surgery done. She's married to Les Moonves, who is the head of CBS.
Oh, well, yeah, she has more money clearly then.
Yeah, and that's probably how she got all these jobs.
Oh, that's a fairly good point.
But I'm like weirdly attracted to Julie Chen. So that's it. And I love her hosting Big Brother, which is not what this is about, but because she also hosts a daytime talk show, I can put her on the list.
Yeah. Okay. Moving along.
So then we're over. I think we're actually over to you on 5 because we were doing. Yeah.
And it's Michael Strahan. There has been a good amount of overlap here.
Yeah.
Still the all-time sack leader in a single season.
Yeah, I mean, Favre gave him that one.
Oh, totally. You know what I think really is? I think really is part of the comfort is the tooth gap is what like ingratiates him to everyone.
Do you think Anthony Davis is going to be able to parlay a post-career with his unibrow?
If he wants to, totally.
He might not want to, but yeah, if he wants to, he totally use
There are very few NBA versions of like Strahan. Rick Fox, kind of.
But Rick Fox is a beautiful man. I don't know if he is anymore. He's kind of starting to lose it. But my wife's in love with Rick Fox, I think.
Yeah, his dating career was very good. Like he went to LA, was never that good a player anymore, but just crushed it. Like totally worthwhile. Maybe made like $10 million less than he could have over the duration of his career.
Yeah, but then he got like on TV and stuff. He was like, and I think it worked out for him in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, you would trade that for the LA lifestyle. Like, would you rather be like the best player on the Raptors or like the 7th best player on the Lakers?
Especially if you're good looking.
Yeah. Like, I always admire Luke Walton's NBA career because he sucked. Yeah. Played for like 10 years.
You know he did damage.
Just out there, just womanizing, smoking pot probably. And now he's in line for like the next big NBA head job because Steve Kerr went out and
Walton absolutely. And you hear about those guys like those obscure like Sasha Vujacic, I feel like did some legendary. Well,
he had a model. I thought he had a model girlfriend from his native land, which I don't remember what it was.
I think so too. Marco Yarrick has one of those too.
But now it just occurred to me that Luke Walton will clearly be coaching the Lakers next year, won't he?
Oh yeah, that makes sense, right? Yeah, that makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
We should bet on that. I don't think it's possible, but we should bet on it.
I mean, we both are like, yeah, that's definitely happening. So I don't know which side who wants to take the no.
So that was
and my
number
4.
Yeah,
my 4. We're getting into a guy who kind of is on daytime talk show Mount Rushmore, and that's Jerry Springer.
Oh, see, not on my list. I hate that show.
I think it is a staple of the genre.
It is absolutely. I just hate that show.
It's trashy. It's very trashy.
I didn't put Maury on my list because I don't like that show either. But I like
Maury on my list or Steve Wilkos. I mean, if I'm going
to put Steve Wilkos, if you're gonna
Steve Wilkos is just when the intern got a job, you know.
Yeah. In case you don't know, Steve Wilkos was like Jerry Springer's bodyguard who would break up all the fake fights on the Jerry Springer show. Like, I don't think that show's real. I think it was
a movie about it, and basically admitted as much.
Maury seems more real.
Yeah, because Maury, the people are so trashy. Like Jerry Springer, they're like somewhat put together sometimes. Mm-hmm. Maury, no.
They just seem like they're acting at Jerry Springer, and they're not good actors.
Well, and he went to LA.
Yeah. Maury is all like paternity tests and sending kids to boot camp.
Now, do you think anyone's like, I went on Maury and straightened my life out? You think that's a story that exists?
Yeah, I think one kid.
One kid.
I think one kid did. But yeah, Springer's classic. Wait, he was the mayor of Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, I think he had a hooker scandal.
I mean, it makes sense that would be the city he was mayor of.
They ain't no Bengals. Not everything is bad in Cincinnati.
Yeah, they look awesome. So am I number 4?
You are.
This is gonna be one you're probably not gonna agree with. You probably don't. You might not even know who he is. It's Clinton Kelly.
I saw that name on some of these lists, but
he is the host of The Chew, which is a show I sneaky enjoy.
Okay, so I had a hard time with The Chew classifying it because, like, Mario Batali to me, that seems weird to call him a talk show host, you know?
See, that's why I consider Clinton the host, right? Like, and those other 4 people, these other people are like the talent in my head because the other 3 are like
real,
chefs. They're real ass chefs
who also have other shows. I think.
I don't know. So like Mario Batali is one of them. He's like a big Italian guy who's famous for treating his employees like crap. There's a bald guy named who's like pretty famous. I don't know his name. And then there's Carla Hall, who is like I think on Chopped. And she looks, if you don't know who she is, she looks like a taller version of the mom on the TV show Blackish.
Oh, I was gonna say like a worse looking Sage Steele, but
well, she's not probably not taller than Sage Steele, but yeah, like kind of in that like ilk of what they look like. She's older than them, and yeah, like but it's like hey, at least on that show I'm learning something about food, unlike the Talk and the View.
That show makes total sense with the rise of foodie culture. The thing is, I hate foodie culture, and you do too, I think.
Yeah, I don't hate it as much as you. Here's the thing. I kind of don't hate the foodie stuff, but I hate like the foodies then bashing the regular. I like all food.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to say like I don't want to go to some foodie restaurant because I do, but I also want to go to McDonald's.
I agree. Like I'm going to Green Street Meats tonight. I'm fucking excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But then like those people who then you can't eat this other stuff, blah blah blah. Like I hate that though. You know what I mean?
Also, you're not a foodie if you don't cook. You're just an aspiring fat person. You have to cook to be a foodie. Everyone likes eating at nice restaurants.
Everybody likes good food.
That does not make you unique.
Absolutely.
It makes you wealthy.
Well, I'm also like not into like the like posting like on Yelp and stuff like that, which I assume like people who call themselves foodies do.
Oh, I've only posted on Yelp for one thing, and it was like a house cleaning service that kept charging my credit card after not showing up.
I posted on Yelp for a guy who like fixed my like hot water heater or something, and he said if I did it, he would give me like a 5% discount.
So he was gaming the system, but
absolutely. But I bought in. Why?
Hey, it matters.
So I did it. It doesn't matter. So yeah, that was my number 4 is Clinton. He was also, if you recall, do you ever watch the show What Not to Wear?
I mean, I know it existed.
He was the guy on that show. I feel like I spent a lot of hungover mornings watching that show, like on whatever channel it was on. And so yeah, I watched that trash show. And my number 3, but Clinton's also the drunkest person. He's drunker than Kelly or Hoda, Kathy Lee or Hoda. He like gets legit drunk on that show, and you can like tell he's drunk. Like by the end of it,
they're probably filming at 2:00 in the afternoon. Why not?
Because he's like not like he doesn't have to do any of the cooking. He just is like trying the food, and sometimes they'll have him like try it when they need like it's easy. We'll let Clinton show you or something like that. My number 3 is Dan Patrick.
Yeah, I mean,
how much money do you think he makes? He's got a syndicated radio show, and it's on TV as well. And then he does all the Sunday Night Football stuff.
And an SSI column. I guess he's not in Steve Harvey territory, but
yeah, probably not.
Probably not that far off.
He probably does pretty well for himself. I mean, as the sports ones goes, he's like the best, like most talented of them. I like of the talk shows. I was trying to think of the other ones. Like there's like Feinbaum, who I hate, but I love to make fun of. And then there's like, I mean,
Colin Cowherd has one now.
Oh, but he's the fucking worst person on TV.
I hate him so much.
He definitely says African American.
God damn.
He's so racist.
But he's got a lot of black friends.
He's so racist. I don't care what he says. Like anybody who knows, he's so racist. And then LeBatard now has his talk shows on, but not he has a show and he has his radio show on TV.
Yeah, I used to not like him, but I've kind of come around on him.
I like his show, but not his radio show. I like his
take
like
himself too seriously.
The show with like his like grandpa and like Bomani Jones is actually kind of funny sometimes. It is highly questionable or whatever it is. Yeah. So that Patrick's my number 3. He's a good interviewer too. They get good guests on that show.
Yeah, like, Dan Patrick is awesome.
They'll get like real celebrities, not sports too, like to come on that show.
No, I mean I'll say actually, it's not with it probably doesn't qualify, but Scott Van Pelt Sports Center, I'm really enjoying.
I don't really watch Sports Center.
Well, you should. This is a new format. It's like the Scott Van Pelt show.
Yeah,
he brings on a guest. It's kind of cool, and you get like clips. The games that matter.
Talks a lot about gambling, which I like.
You get, I mean, like it's like the things he likes. Like there's a Maryland Terps flag in the intro. Like, I mean,
it has like his logo behind it. So they're trying that out. I heard that Stephen A. Smith is hosting a Sports Center.
Oh, that one I'll skip. The logo will just be his face because that's the only thing that he likes.
That's kind of what Scott Van Pelt's logo is, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think no one has the disease of me worse in media than Stephen A. Smith.
Him or Skip.
Yeah, but I guess Skip doesn't report anymore. Stephen A. Smith somehow gets to be a reporter still. And not a very good one by a lot of accounts.
He broke something recently that like nobody bought into. That he definitely broke.
Kevin Durant was considering the Lakers or something like that, or the Knicks. I mean,
no, like something that was actually came true already. Oh, I forget what it was. And he had something that was like out there that people were like, no, we don't believe this because Stephen A. Smith is saying it. Doesn't he have like a beef with Kevin Durant now?
Yeah, he like publicly.
Did Kevin Durant tell him to keep his name out of his mouth? Which is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Who is your number 3?
Rachael Ray.
Rachael Ray didn't make my list. I'm
attracted to her.
Oh, I mean, really? See,
through like phases where she was a Maxim at one point.
Really? Okay. Hey, I'm not going to judge you. I told you I was attracted to Meredith Vieira and Julie Chen.
I mean, well, what can I say about Rachael Ray?
When it comes to my food-based ones, though, I'm strictly loyal to the chew and not the dish with Rachael Ray.
So, it's not the Rachael Ray show anymore. She's just like such an industry on her own. It's really impressive. More money than Steve Harvey, for sure.
Is she like from the Food Network? Did she like parlay her?
I thought she started with Oprah for some reason.
Oh, maybe. That could be possible. Like she was Oprah's.
If you started with Oprah. By the way, now that we're pretty far in, no Dr. Phil, no Dr. Oz.
Those guys are fucking scumbags.
I hate those guys.
Dr. Oz is for sure a scumbag. Dr. Phil's kind of a scumbag.
Well, he's just not really qualified to do a lot of what he does at this point.
No, Dr. Oz is a schmuck. He's just like selling like snake oil to people.
Was he a plastic surgeon?
I don't know what he was, but all I know is he sells stuff all the time and like claims it does all this stuff and it's fake. Dr. Oz. And then like all these old people watch it. It's like they watch that in Fox News and just get taken advantage of.
I mean, there was a character on Scrubs who I think is Dr. Oz.
I never watched.
It's which guy? The auxiliary surgeon who was just like, he had sleeveless scrubs and was high-fiving people all the time.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I watched that show a few times. I never really got into it. I don't like Zach Braff.
No, I mean, that's usually a pretty popular sentiment.
I don't like it, but if I told you I didn't like Garden State, I said I'd be a liar.
It was, it was what that Cameron Crowe movie Elizabethtown was supposed to be.
Garden State was good for the time. Like it was like perfect. It came out at the perfect time for it. It
was the first date with the first girl I fell in love with. How's that for sentiment?
Look at you.
Yeah. Don't talk to her anymore.
That's fine. There's no reason to. I'm a firm believer. There's not much reason to be friends afterwards.
No. No. Only if it's inconvenient for your friends mutually.
So like what?
If it's inconvenient for your friends mutual, like you guys have mutual friends and that's a circle of friends,
then you still have to kind of keep it together for that.
Yeah, you don't really have much of a choice.
Or at least be like nice to each other.
Yeah. So I got Rachael Ray, and then my number 2, who I think our number 2 and number 1 are probably gonna be the same two people.
No, I don't think you're gonna have my number 1. So let's hear it.
My number 2 is Ellen.
No, it's my number 2 is Ellen.
Okay, I mean, she annoys the piss out of me sometimes, but she's generally pretty funny.
She definitely makes more than Steve Harvey, too.
She gets great guests.
Her show is basically a late night talk show on daytime, like based on like the format and kind of like she stands up, she does this, she has real like big time celebrity guests. It's like a late night talk show during the day.
Yeah. That's an assessment. That's a fair assessment.
It's not my favorite show, but I can like independently watch it. So even though I don't like it, like that's a good TV show. It might not be my favorite or something I'm into, but I could like watch that. Like say like that's a good TV show. People will watch that.
Yeah. I mean, she's a great comic and has like kind of become able to interview really well and
yeah. She done recording for Finding Dory.
Wait, they're doing a sequel to that?
Yeah, Finding Dory. Yeah,
well, that'll be coming into your house.
Absolutely. Hey, you got to pick. So I was told by a friend. I think it was Jeff, our former coworker that we both worked with. He told me to only go Pixar and Disney when you're showing your kids the movies, right? So like only go high-end movies for your kids, because what happens is then they won't want to watch the really shitty ones because they could tell by the animation and stuff isn't as good. They just won't want to watch it.
Great.
So only show them the good ones first. So then they get locked into that because those are kind of even more entertaining for like the parents because they like throw in some stuff. Like,
well, yeah, they have storylines that are developed and jokes.
Like Finding Nemo is not a terrible movie.
No.
So like I'd much rather watch that 100 times when their kids want to watch it than like some like bogus like D-rated movie on Netflix, right? Like I don't know. So wait. So Ellen's your number 2 and my number 2, and you said you're for sure gonna have the same number 1 then?
No, I don't think we. Well, I mean, I thought we would, but now you're telling me we don't.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you have this person. I just didn't think you would think of it. Okay? I guess I have to go first.
Oh, we can do it. I'll go.
Okay, go.
Kelly Ripa?
Oh no, didn't make my list.
Oh, she's so attractive. That's really it. I don't really watch the show. All daytime TV is terrible, but I'd like to have something to look at.
She's all right. She's all right.
Okay. I thought we'd be in, and she makes the most of anyone for their television appearances.
Oh, but here's the thing. I don't know if she makes more than my number 1. And it's a guy.
Let's hear it.
Now, you're not going to have it because you probably didn't think of it, but I watch this show a lot. And TMZ is not a talk show, but TMZ Live is a talk show.
Ah, you totally.
TMZ Live is a talk show.
Okay.
Yeah, they talk to guests, regular people, nonstop. It's Harvey Levin.
All right.
I love Harvey.
You do love TMZ.
I love Harvey. You know that Harvey was like, you probably know this, but like he's like the guy who interviews the people at the People's Court after they get let out.
Yeah, I know that because you told me.
I love Harvey. Yeah, he's like a host. They have guests. Literally, they have guests. They'll have like weird like celebrities come on and like comment on stuff with them. They talk to people at home via webcam, which is a little different. But if you could do it over the phone, webcam counts too.
It's a talk show of this millennium.
TMZ Live, Harvey Levin. I love Harv. I'm a lawyer. That's his little thing that it says at the end of every episode.
This was a fun one.
It was. Thanks for listening. You should follow us on Facebook if you don't like us on Facebook at First of the Worst. Follow us on Twitter at First of the Worst. Subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher. I heard Google's doing some stuff. I'm gonna try to get us on that. Like I think Google Play is starting a podcast thing. So it'll be more integrated into the Android phones. So I'll try to get us on that. You can follow Brendan on his own at Twitter at shy_Murph. I changed my Twitter handle, trying to be a little more anonymous in the streets, but I'll let you all know. It's at Stevesy. That's STEVESY. It's a better Twitter handle too. So like I had to take it when I saw it was available. It's a better Twitter handle.
That's a joke from The Life Aquatic.
Yeah.
Movie. Can I call you Dad? How about Stevesy?
People call me that sometimes. So I've been called that. Steve, call me Stevesy. Yeah, so thanks for listening, and we should be a little more regular here.
Yeah, we'll probably be fairly weekly.
All right, later.
Have a good week, guys.
All right, I gotta get off of here.
Yeah, that did take a little long.
It's okay, I don't really give a shit.
All right, man. Well, have a good weekend.
All right, man. Yeah,
I'm going to the big house tomorrow.
Oh, you're going this time?
Yeah, this time I'm going.
How far of a drive is that?
4 hours. We're staying the night.
That's not too bad.
No, Rutgers.
Not the same as
not the Juice.
Not being at one of the most entertaining college football games ever.
Yeah, but there's no way I wouldn't have laughed at the end and sitting amongst all the Michigan alums. That would have been disastrous.
I was giggling. The only time I giggled more at sports in the last year was.
I mean, how could you not? It's crazy.
When Derrick Rose won that playoff game with the bank shot, I giggled a lot. I loved it, but I giggled a lot. All right, man. Later. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.